savor the last bite. Today I'm making a vegan apple almond cake. I love this cake this time of year. First of all, apples spell fall, but also the holidays are around the corner and Thanksgiving's really around the corner. And apples and Thanksgiving, they just remind me so much of this cake. So I can't wait to show you guys this because this is a great cake to make in the fall time and all holiday season long. Your guests will love it, and if you just want a little chunk with a cup of tea, this is so satisfying. And I use almond flour and almond extract, so it has that beautiful almond flavor. I can't wait for you guys to try this, so let's get started. The first thing we're gonna do is add our coconut oil into the hot pan. We're gonna let that melt around, then we're gonna add our apples. We just need those to get soft. We're gonna add a tablespoon of our maple syrup soon, but we don't need those to brown. We just need them to get soft because we're gonna put them on top of the cake halfway through the baking. And speaking of apples and fall time remind me of my favorite kombucha. It's actually a fall edition. It's a special edition, and it's called Living in Gratitude. And honestly, I'm living in gratitude every day, but especially today. So I'm gonna have a little toast to you guys. Here's to the holidays, and here's to your apple almond cake. Man, that's so good. Apples and turmeric, ginger, it's so delicious. You gotta try it. Nothing like cooking my apple almond cake with a nice glass of Living in Gratitude kombucha. Okay, so now let's add about a spoonful of maple syrup into those apples. That'll just help get them nice and sweet. Okay, they're pretty much done, so let's get making the cake now. The first thing we're gonna do is add our flours. I'm using 3 flours: almond flour, barley flour, and oat flour. Barley flour, if you've never baked with barley flour, you have to try it. You guys know I love all the whole grain flours because I love eating Mother Nature's whole foods. And barley flour, wow, that's such a nice hearty flour, but if you don't have it or you don't want to get it, then just use your favorite flour. You could use acorn flour, wheat flour, or just split it between 2 different flours, oat flour and almond flour. But you won't regret that you've tried barley flour. Here it is. You can buy it already ground up. Okay, and whisk that around, get it all blended up. Sometimes I like to get my hands in there because almond flour can tend to have little chunks. Usually they break right apart and you don't have to worry about them. But just because there's some fat content in the almonds, it never looks totally smooth. So that's fine, just making sure. Okay, that's our dry ingredients. And then over here we're gonna do our wet. We're gonna start with the maple syrup, the olive oil, vanilla, almond extract. Oh, I love almond extract. And yogurt. Yogurt helps to not have to use so much oil and also for not having any eggs. It moistens and it helps with the binding. Let's whisk that together till it's nice and smooth. Maple syrup and yogurt and barley flour. Oh my God, this is the most delicious cake. Easy so far, right? There's nothing complicated. This is easy. into the dry ingredients. This batter is not going to be quite like a cake batter. It's going to be more like a brownie batter or a blondie bar batter. It's going to be something that you kind of press into the pan, not pour into the pan. That's why I like it, because it's so a bit more dense and earthy. That's so good. Didn't you guys love to lick the spatula and the beaters when your mom baked cookies or cakes? I did. But you know, that's the best thing about vegan recipes. It's safe to do that because there's no eggs. Fantastic and so delicious. Man, that's good. Wow. Okay, now it's time to put it in our baking dish. I don't have one bigger square one like I would like to have, and I love this cake square because then I cut it like brownie size. So I'm using my 2 small square pans, but whatever you have, if you have an 8x8 or a 9x9, but not much bigger than that because you want them about the size of a good brownie. So I've lined them with parchment paper, and now I'm going to put about half the dough in each. And you can see this is much more a dough than it is a batter. So it's much more like a brownie than a cake, but it's so good. And now we just press it down into all the corners. I like to try to get it fairly smooth on the top because in baking, it's gonna bake just how you leave it. Okay, in the oven they go, 350, and in about 15 or 20 minutes, I'm gonna bring it out and put the apples on. Okay, time to put our apples on, and then we'll put it back in the oven. And when I put my apples on, I like to put them really close together, 2 or 3, depending on the size of them, because I'm gonna cut these in bars. So I always think about how I'm gonna cut the bars because I wanna leave a little space, because it's so beautiful to have just a few slices on each little bar. And the last thing left to do is to put our apricot jam. Just makes the apples nice and shiny, and I love the looks of it. If you don't have it, no worries. You can use other jam. This was at the bottom of the jar, so it's already nice and liquidy. But if you have to, you can just add a little water to it. Now in the oven they go. My favorite part, the taste test. Wow, look at that. That inside is so moist. It's really like a brownie with nice soft center and a nice crusty outer edge. Can you see that browned outer edge? It's crunchy, and the inside is so moist. And that apricot glaze, look how it made those apples shiny and almost caramelized. Oh, the crust. I love crust. Wow, that's so good. It's as good as I remember, but it's always better when you have it in front of you. Man. It has such a beautiful almond flavor. The almond flour, but the almond extract, that to me is something that is not optional. It's so incredible. And there's something about the barley flour, even though there's only a half a cup of it in there, it just adds such a beautiful earthy taste. Oh my God, this is so good. Wow, Lloyd's gonna be happy. have a great dessert like this. You know, these desserts are really my favorite. Maybe it's because I love bready and pastry kind of stuff, but more than anything, I love that it's not so sweet. And although we added quite an amount of maple syrup in that, it was 2 whole cakes. And we only used a 1/4 cup of olive oil. That's 4 tablespoons for 2 whole cakes. And that's why I put yogurt in there to help make up for the lack of oil, and you would never know it. Look, it is beautifully moist. Incredible. And those apples. Wow, this is so holiday and fall, and it's so amazing. I'm gonna have my last drink of apple kombucha, living with gratitude. Thank you for making that one. I love this. What an amazing little snack right now. Fantastic. You guys, this is up there with one of my favorite desserts ever. And I'm sure you could do it with other fruit, but apples in the fall and barley flour, they just go together like peanut butter and jelly. Please give this a try. It's so easy, you guys. And thanks for subscribing. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I really do. So thank you so much. Cheers. Here's to your apple almond cake. Yum.